So earlier this week, 343 revealed for the first time the multiplayer for Halo Infinite. And I gotta say, I'm really impressed and really excited for how this game mode is going to be for Halo. I think with it being free to play and all the features that they announced, Halo is going to be back and it's going to be huge when it launches later this year. But there is one particular feature that I want to kind of talk about and showcase how I think this may change how we interact with Halo multiplayer for maybe forever. And this is bots in Halo. So for the first time ever, 343 said that you're going to be able to have bots in custom games in Halo Infinite. And that's going to unlock so many potential matches and aspects and different kinds of game modes and experiences for players that I don't think we've ever really seen before. There were a lot of times where I would create Forge maps in Halo, and I would love to test them out, especially in the Halo Reach era. And what was always kind of frustrating is you would need one of your friends to be online to invite them into your game to see how people would spawn, how people would utilize the map that you created. And while they didn't specifically say that you can have AI spawn in your Forge-made maps, I'm assuming that they're going to allow that to happen. And I think that's just going to let so many people create so many great maps. I mean, imagine the kind of potential that can be unlocked with this sort of thing. Like, will people be able to have AI games versus AI games for content? Like, let's say you have all the AI spawned with rocket launchers or something. Just imagine the chaos that would cause. Or maybe you make a really big maze in Forge and you let the AI kind of be lab rats and watch them try to find their way to exit this maze. Or maybe even the AI will allow you to race on like a mongoose or a warthog. How will they drive and how will they interact, especially when you add more real players into that mix? I mean, there's just a lot of potential. I think the way that this is designed is it's going to let you try out your skills before jumping online. So this will allow players to, both new and returning players, try out the new weapons, your new gear, different sort of strategies on how to get to various points in the map, and different tactics that your team should use. Maybe you should push for the power weapons or go straight for the vehicles, whatever the case may be. And you can also learn where the weapons and vehicles spawn on all these maps before you go online. I think this is a really smart idea. I used to do this all the time in Call of Duty. I think it was the first Black Ops allowed you to spawn AIs in the games as well. And I remember just spending, if I didn't feel like going and being all that sweaty in a ranked game on Black Ops, I would just spawn some AIs and have some fun. And I think a lot of players will really enjoy this. Imagine you could create like a big team battle, but it could just be yourself or maybe you and a friend. And you can mix and match how many AIs are on each particular team. Maybe you want a real challenge, and it could be just you and a friend versus maybe, say, 12 enemy AI opponents. I think that'd be really, really cool. Maybe someone will create, like, Nuketown in Halo and allow all these bots to spawn on it. It'll just be a lot of fun. So I think that we're going to see a lot of content creators take advantage of this feature. I think once 343 gives you the tools, the amount of creativity and potential, 343 doesn't even know what can be achieved. It was kind of like when Forge mode was released for Halo 3. I don't think Bungie at the time knew that people would be making all sorts of maps and experiences and ways to just play the game in a new way that was never imagined before. Something like Griffball. And all these different racing maps that we saw. So I hope that this new feature will kind of unlock that same potential. And I'm really, really excited. Maybe what we have launched is a limited amount of feature set for adding bots and AI into Halo, but over time they'll maybe add some new features when there's some more maps or new power weapons, whatever the case may be. We'll see AI hopefully show up in Forge made maps. I think that's really going to be the icing on the cake. If we can have AI spawn in Forge made maps and the AI may be smart enough to kind of understand the dynamic of some of these creative maps, I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Even if the AI is just limited to the maps that 343 has designed out of the box, you know, the limited maps that you can pick for custom games, the same maps that you would find if you were to search for matchmaking, I think that would be totally fine too, and we would see a lot of really creative stuff, especially when you mix in theater mode on top of it. So I'd love to know your thoughts on AI bots coming into Halo for the first time. Are you really excited about it? Are you going to be using this feature to your advantage to learn how the maps work? Or will you try to, say, make some creative content based on this feature set? Or do you not care about it at all? Whatever the case may be, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And if this is your first time on Team Respawn, we got a huge Discord server with over 3,600 members that love to talk about Halo and Halo Wars. And if you love Halo Wars, well, you're in the right place. We got a ton of content right here on the channel. All right, that does it for me. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. And I'll see you, James.